welcome to Pre-War, Post-War More. Today, we are going to be dealing with some number 77 crossing gates. So the 77 is a pre-war crossing gate, has a solenoid inside. Pretty simple operation, but it can be a little confusing. This little cap holds the top on there. Here's the solenoid, and inside, here's a solenoid inside the holder there, where the arms sit. There's a cam that sits down right in there, and then the cap holds the cam on right there. And it's just on or off, and it's also got a red light bulb in the arm there. So what we're doing right now is we're soldering on some new wires to the solenoids. See, this one's got some paint or schmutz on it here. We're going to attach some wires to these and then put on some shrink tubing to protect them, and then we'll get them wired up. So these are solenoid wires. They are insulated, which they don't look like it, but they are insulated with a thin insulation. And so the first thing we do is we need to get that insulation off. And the best way to do that, I'm using my Leatherman Charge Titanium. It's got this little diamond fine file on the side here, and I literally just take the end and I just kind of rub it off. I kind of pull on it, squeezing the wire between my thumb and the wire, my thumb and the file. Hitting this against the side here, it can weaken this. This is a solid core wire. So what I like to do is hold one end with my hand, and then pull against that end there while I'm holding this end with my other hand. So I'm going to get those the wire stripped real quick, and we'll be right back. Alright, so next we need to tin these wires. We'll get some flux on there, and we will that flux will help the solder adhere to these and make a good connection with our wires. Alright, so we've got some flux on the end there. There's not a lot, just a thin coating is enough, and then we'll take this soldering iron's got some solder on it already, and we'll just tin the end there by holding it down on the wire, getting a little solder on the end there so it will adhere to our wires. Alright, so here's my wire. I made one side short, one side long. This long side, I'm going to put a hook on it so that it can hook into these the binding posts here, and then the short side is just sorry, I'm going to do this real quick. The short side is just to hook up to the wire, and it doesn't need to be very long. So getting some flux on there, and we'll get that wire tinned and connected. Alright, we got our wires soldered on the end there. Now we're going to add some shrink tubing to help these wires with a little bit of support and keep them from shorting out here on the frame. Alright, I'm using some clear shrink tubing here. Usually I'd use like black or something like that, a darker color, but this is going to work okay. Just slide it on the end here. We'll just feed it all the way as far as we can go. And this wire too. That was a lot harder than it should have been to do that. It has a real small shrink tubing just above the size of the wire. But then we'll got it out to the other side, and we'll feed it in as far as we can. And now, former firefighter and me loves the flames. So here we go. We're going to melt this shrink tubing so it'll sit flush, it'll be tight on there, and not go anywhere, and help with that, again, the stability of that wire. So we're gonna hook these up. One goes to the ground, the frame ground. There, one of these has insulators. So this is the hot side. This is the common side. And we're going to need one more wire going to the hot side, and that's the wire for the light bulb. So the wire for the light bulb runs down the side of the frame. It's kind of integral with the crossing arm. So let's grab a crossing arm and we'll get that wire fed in. You might have to extend the wire size like we did here a little bit, but we'll get that taken care of. So here's our crossing arm here, and I added a little bit of shrink tubing on there. Got a lot of fraying of this fabric sheathed wire here. This will just help hold that in place and give the rest of the wire control there. So you see there's the cam with the plunger that goes down into the solenoid. And so what we need to do now is this wire is going to go down that larger section there, and then the plunger needs to go in the plunger hole. Actually, we've got this on backwards. Hold on. Okay, that was one thing problem here. So this hole right here, that is for the wire. So the wire needs to go through there. That's my mistake. So let me do that real quick. Alright, so we got that on there. Cam slides down in there. Wire goes down through that side. You see the plunger in the solenoid there. And it sits so that the power is next to the weights, and then this comes down over the top of the sign here. This is just a arm here that holds the crossing arm together, and it always wants to come apart. If you give it any kind of pressure, it just starts coming apart. So next we need to wire this up, and you get a light bulb here, and we need a cap for the top here. Alright, so here's the cap for the top. You can see the one we've got on right here. I don't have enough for all mine, so guess which one's the repro? This guy right here. I just kind of chopped this up real quick. Kind of want to figure out how to make them real nice like this, and maybe sell them on eBay, because I'm sure there's other guys out there that have 77 crossing arms without the cap. But this is one of my nicer, the paint job's a little bit nicer on this one, so we're going to use an original cap on here, and it just goes on the top like this to hold that buck down right there. You gotta kind of manipulate it a little bit because it's nothing straight in the pre-war period. Alright, I'll get this on. We'll be right back. Alright, so now I'm going to call this my common here, and these will be my hot, and we'll get it wired to these posts here. Alright, so we got a white bulb in there. I'm all out of my large red bulbs, but here is our working 77 in. Sorry, just 77 crossing gate.